Hello, friends. How's it going? So, we are about halfway through, a little less than halfway through of the Endless Delirium event. And I just want to give you all a mid-race update. So, this race is a little contentious. It definitely could use some tweaks. The the acts are very challenging, but I found it an interesting, fun puzzle to try to solve. I liked it, but I totally understand why some people might not. If you saw my last video, we'll just show this real quick right now. My raider died. And kind of sad about it, to be honest, but I did have a lot of fun leveling that character. And you know what, that act 5 Kitava has shut me down in the past. When I tried to play Gauntlet a couple of leagues ago, I almost the exact same thing happened, except for with a punch instead of throwing the roof. And I wanted to kind of go back and look at what was going on and why am I dying here? And why does this happen? How does this happen? How do I not die to this again? And so what I did is I went to PoEDB, looked up how much damage that thing does roughly 2,000 damage. Since Kitava is about 70% delirious, that's about 20% increased damage on that. So what I did is I farmed Act 5 until I had 2,500 plus life, went in there knowing that he could not one-shot me no matter what. And I beat him very, very easily on my occultist. As you see in the background here, I am now doing Poisonous Concoction again, but on an occultist, and it's been really interesting. I haven't played Poisonous Concoction this much at all, and I was actually really curious like what the occultist version really looks like, especially, I have a good idea of what the Pathfinder version probably looks like. And it's pretty interesting because I don't think in hardcore solo self-found, which is what I'm in, is actually ideal for playing Poisonous Concoction on an occultist. It really feels like more of a softcore trade type of setup where, getting the defenses that you really want and getting the pure quality of life that you want is a little bit more difficult, honestly. Because we are a witch, it's a little bit of a travel to get to all the poison stuff, and she's not really close to any really good defenses. Occultist has some really good defensive stuff if you go, more into energy shield based stuff, but that's not really a hardcore friendly thing for you to do, honestly. Playing this, what I consider probably a much more softcore trade style build in hardcore self-found, has been a pretty interesting challenge, and I don't think I've solved it yet. Still working on that, but I am enjoying this challenge and seeing how it's going. So if we take a look at the standings, you'll see that I am currently the 5th place alive occultist, which is kind of a funny way to look at it, but it is a graveyard up here. And I think this is a pretty cool event because of that. It is legitimately challenging with some surprising, slightly different kind of challenges to overcome. Delirium has its own approach with how it does offense and defense, against the character. There's lightning damage, there are shocks, there are annoying slows, and the way that the defense of the monsters works is they actually have less damage taken. We may actually want to scale our damage by doing increased damage taken to the monsters to try to offset that. So we can, look for easy to find things like Bottled Faith or whatever, but, a build that could run Pride or, Occultist is nice for that because she has increased damage taken on her Ascendancy. That's an interesting challenge for thinking about how to build our character a little bit differently to offset some of the annoying ways that Delirium scales. If we take a look at this, the top 50 witches, the vast majority of them are dead. It is an absolute graveyard up here. And so, this tells me, let's be really careful. And I am currently in the 5th place of alive witches. And, we're still in spitting distance of 1st place here. So, we're only halfway through this league. It's neck and neck. And it's absolutely worth our time to take our time and go as slowly as possible. All right, so this is what the build looks like. It's okay. The problem is Detonate Dead is absolutely just dominating right now, and anything else is just kind of paling in comparison. I called it previously. Detonate Dead is probably the #1 thing that needs to get nerfed. It's absolutely crazy. Every Ascendancy in the game right now is playing it at the top of the ladder. It's a bit too much, especially in the hardcore race. What it allows you to do is invest entirely into defense and ignore offense as as something that you need to invest in, and you're just absolutely cruising from there. So what I do is I pop my Plague Bear once it's fully charged up, and I just kind of shield charge around. As soon as Plague Bear is no longer charged up, attack a few times. I'm just looking up here for when it's charged. As soon as that's up to about 900,000, right there, then I pop Plague Bear again, shield charge around. You know, this highlights again how much I just find Delirium kind of an annoying mechanic in general. It's kind of funny, like the number one complaint about Endless Delirium is how painful it was to level through the axe, but I actually found it like an interesting, fun puzzle to solve. You know, each zone you didn't know how much Delirium it would be and how challenging it would be to, like, okay, what's my approach here? Do I run through it? Is this like a decoy totem, quartz flask, run through at warp speed type of thing? Or is this okay, I'm going to full clear this a couple times, get a couple levels, and then that will give me a little bit of wiggle room as I level a little bit more. So, yeah, that part of it I actually found really interesting. I'm not going to say fun. I'm going to call that type 2 fun, which basically means it is fun. Type 1 fun will be it's fun as you're doing it. Type 2 fun is like running a marathon, where it's a challenging thing that you may be trained for. You're really, digging deep to accomplish your goals. And, a week or two later, after you're done with it, maybe then you're like, okay, that was a cool, challenging thing that I did. I never want to do it again, but it was worthwhile, and I'm glad I did it. And that's how I look at the campaign and the puzzle there. I really, really did enjoy it, and I thought it was a cool, interesting challenge. But mapping, Delirium itself has so many things about mapping that I just don't love. Like the grabby hands that, lower your action speed and make everything uncomfortable. The fact that there are constantly exploding, semi-volatile dead things, the molten balls, that are constantly chasing you, exploding. Lots of on-death effects. The lack of visibility, the low performance, because you have to pop all the eggs, you're going forward and then you're double backing all the time, and most of the time it's not even worth doing that double backing. My main complaint with this is that just Delirium is not my favorite league in the game. The fact that everything is challenging and kind of different and has some variety and some thought into how you approach it, I actually really like that puzzle solving part. So, I'm on the side of everyone that this is not the best event ever, but my complaints with it are just fundamental to Delirium League itself and not really with the implementation. It could, I think my one thing that I would do is just make it more rewarding. When it comes to Void Leagues especially, I said this for Atlas Invasion as well, there's just no reason why they can't, go absolutely crazy. It's voided. Let's just throw everything at it. I don't think they've really tested throwing, absolute crazy rewards, especially in a voided league, at the player and seeing what happens. I think they did one test with like a flashback league once and they had bad retention, but this is just a whole different world. And especially in a race, right? That people aren't looking at it as the normal game. So I think that it would be really healthy for them to give that a shot. Anyway, that's enough rambling for me right now. Just going to keep it short and sweet for y'all. Thanks for watching this mid-league update. My goal is to, as with the previous 2 leagues that I participated in, get another demigods. This, for me, it's just kind of a personal accomplishment thing, just to prove to myself that I'm not particularly bad at the game, just to have that little trophy reward to show that to myself anyway. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. Goodbye.